Da-da-da-da-dun. Da-da-da-da-dun. Welcome, 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 my darlings. Welcome to my space. I was gonna say, like, I hope you're having blah 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 blah, but honestly, it doesn't feel like I love doing Matrix kind of narratives, so let's just get started. Good morning, souls of this earth. You've arrived safely in Alsie land. Thank you for choosing us as your now destination. Today's forecast calls for abundant remembrance with light, frosty flakes of joy. At this time, we kindly ask that you release any excess baggage that doesn't belong to the cabin of your origin. Before you exit our doors, don't forget to pick up your souvenir of alignment. And remember, you already are. All right, my darlings. So today I have my menu of what I am to enjoy in this moment that you're joining me. A couple of things are gonna happen in this space episode. Very real things, very conscious like things, and very soul alcy things. I want to start by my started of this menu, which is experiencing life through mind, body, or soul. So here's the tea. Here's what I have perceived from soul knowing, but also from diving into different paradigms of life existence, is that, as you know, we are mind, body, and soul. And yet, I have noticed there are humans who have a more mind inclined experience. And then there are also humans who have a more body inclined experience. And then there are other humans like myself who are more inclined into soul living experience. My soul knowing is we're all the fucking same, and based on your soul purpose, it depends. It is based on if you get a more mind experience, body experience, soul experience, or a ratio in between them. And it's very interesting because I see different paradigms crossing paths and having conflict with what truth means. So, truth, what truth means. Okay, before that, I got something else that it's coming through and is. Oh no, don't go. Don't go. Oh shit, it's gone. Oh shit. It was something about the soul. It's not nice when this happens, but I'm still gonna wait for it to come. I'm sure it will come back. So, what I was saying after that is that I've seen humans having conflict with who holds truth based on this experience that they're having. Oh, yeah, now I remember about the soul. So here's my soul knowing, and then this will be different for every one of you souls who are tapping into my field based on your mind, body, or soul experience and your own memories. But my knowing and what Soul Alsie said to me to bring me back into my truth is, babe, everything starts with a life force. So, plants, animals, humans, they have a life force. Even Mama Earth has life force. And universe has life force. So that means underneath or inside matter, it's life force. And once life is done, like your body is done, soul goes to the next area of existence. So, with that knowing, Soul Alsie said, babe, first is your life force. If you want to call it spirit, soul, whatever. And I also perceive this because I have a soul experience. I don't know how people with mind experience or body experience seem this. Actually, some who have more body experience, I've heard, they do feel like once death comes, their body dies and then that's it for them. And for mind, I don't know. I don't think I know about this for them. And I also can't generalize about the body experience. Also, if you have such experience, put it in here. But because I am experiencing a soul-driven experience, so my knowing is that soul comes first. And even I have seen humans who are experiencing a more mind experience, a more body experience, but at the end they throw out a tiny truth, whether they mention their intuition or they honor their soul in a small sense. So to me, that is my truth. Soul comes first, so life force. So anything that happens here, it's it just comes after. It's manifestation of a creation. And I forgot again why I was trying to say or to share this. But anyways, that will come if it is aligned for it to come. So I've seen people who have conflict within the mind, body, and spirit accepting others' truth. And this conflict, this lack of memory, that we can be experiencing truth as frequency, because everything is that living force, which means anything of that living forms that manifest in physical form has limitation. So no matter what it is, a concept, matter, book, knowledge, it is limited to what the source actually is. So truth, which a lot of humans crave for truth, in my perspective, it's the frequency they're talking about. Because, or they're craving, because if you break down that truth, if you break down that truth, there's infinite possibilities to express or download that truth. It's important to remember that each individual is authentic. Authentic, not in like a Hollywood persona, you know, like an outgoing, dressed up like something. No, like you can be very chill, neutral, and you're still authentic because you have authentic codes. So, like your soul memory, and then all the conditioning that you take in when you embody your earthly life. So, every one of us is authentic, which means that source of truth, which is infinite, downloaded through a being, it's gonna come as a limitation because matter, that human is in a body, it carries limitation. As much as you are unlimited consciousness, when it comes to expression, for it to take form, it needs limitation. It needs something that gives like a mold for it to take that shape. So, limitation is not necessarily something wrong. Limitation can be just characteristics of that which make that thing. For example, when I recognized who I am as Alsie, depending on your lenses, you can perceive that as, oh, that can be limitation to say that I am that. In my perspective is I understand I am the I am. But I also understand Alcie is this authentic being. And Alcie has these characteristics that make her identity. So for me to name I am fill in the blank with such characteristics is not limitation, it comes from authenticity expression. So everything depends on your lenses. Everything. And so what I see is these different paradigms of people either experiencing life more through the mind, or more through the body, or more through the soul. Let me see if I can give you more specific examples. One who lives by the spirit, and I'm just gonna use very stereotypical examples. Keep in mind, it's not generalization, because come on, I'm the queen of authenticity here. I can recognize fucking authenticity in everyone. So, not to generalize, but just to, be dramatic about these examples, to have a clear picture. So, if I were to say, one human who is experiencing life more through the soul experience, and keep in mind there's colors in between, it's not black or white. I would say anyone who is being called like a guru because they're having access to consciousness, they're having life experience, not touching or detach from material consequences. So, and they're accessing different layers of consciousness. So that would be like a soul-driven experience. Now, a body-driven experience, example, stereotypical, a sex worker. One of those ladies that are out there having like group sessions and doing a lot of things with their body, like testing their body in different ways and forms. And when being interviewed, they feel like they're soulless or they're not that bright, but they are bright only in these kind of thing. They're definitely having a more body experience. So they could be likely testing the body limits or expansions. Where does this can go or not go anymore? And then a human having a more mind experience, I would say, like stereotypic, okay? Stereotype. I would say a lawyer. Now, keeping in mind, I have met lawyers who have a ratio of mind, body, and spirit. So I'm just being like very drastic into like a close minded lawyer that needs to go by the book and rationalize everything, and nothing that comes from soul knowing will make sense because it doesn't make sense. It has to make sense. And psychology says this. So it's like for the ones experiencing mind in such a drastic way, it's almost like life was created on planet Earth. Like planet Earth has the ultimate truth. And so there's layers, as I said. So it's very interesting to see and to witness how these paradigms enter in conflict when a lot of the times they're all vibing in truth frequency. But the way they express it, understand it, conceptualize it, or live it, dang it, it's based on their authentic embodiment. That's right. For example, I was seeing the other day a lady talking about scammers of people who talk about manifestation. It's very interesting because a soul who is experiencing manifestation, it's clearly more tapped into the consciousness realm. And the critique that this other creator was doing was looking for proofs. Now, someone experiencing manifestation understands life unfolding, life events, doesn't put on judgment to specific life events, whereas someone who's living through mind who needs proof would be like, why are you experiencing this bad thing, which I think is bad? It means it's not working, so you're scamming. And so it's very interesting. What's most interesting to me is that when I watch some content just to see, what's going on out there, I find it easy for it to kind of hypnotize you into the pendulum of the content, to make consciousness fall asleep and buy into the narrative of that who's speaking, which is the same as here. And it's one of the reasons why I keep this experience as an audio experience, and that I do wish, and I'm gonna write it here to keep reminding that I do wish that you go back to live your life. I don't believe in creating dependency on people's attention, so I'll remind this later on. So, what I find for my consciousness experience is that when I dive into a content, it's very easy to fall in the pendulum of, oh, okay, I'm buying this narrative. And any narrative, if you really come with an open consciousness, any narrative can be truth. Basically, every narrative can be valid. But what I like to do, and I remind you to do this as well with my space, with everywhere you visit, if it aligns, what I do is I zoom out of that visual, of the content, of the little wave of the pendulum, and I zoom out to listen to what this person is saying, not with words, but with patterns. And this is not a form of judgment, because I also have moments when I am being reactive, and when I am still re-embodying narratives of expression that I have learned from the Matrix. And I also don't carry judgment for me or for people who, hello, it's part of life. But I do create consciousness to continue evolving. And I mean, if there's better possibilities, better not from an ego perspective, but as of more alignment, why wouldn't I choose them? So I perceive then patterns. And I'm going to use this same example of the lady who is having a critique to perspectives of manifestation. If I got caught up with her narrative, it's like a burlesque embodiment without substance. It's just like, I can make fun of these because these sound silly in my frame of what's possible. These possibilities are out of my frame, so they sound silly, and so I am just gonna make fun of these. But it doesn't offer a counterback. It doesn't offer why that other idea can be invalid. It doesn't offer any substance of why she has the answer then. So when I zoom out, it's kind of bizarre to watch that these narratives that criticize other narratives are using the same pattern. The same pattern of I have the truth. What I believe in is what is right. Just because. That's my frame. And I just find it interesting because I just want to say, okay, honey boob, so how is your knowing not different from what they're doing? So a lot of the times I see they're just mirroring actions. Now, I would say it would be very interesting to live in a world that recognizes that we are having either a more mind experience or a more body experience or a more soul experience. When I picture a high possibility of world, honestly, there's no ego in this that I picture because there's just an awakened consciousness in humans that we all are having an experience, a wide consciousness that we're having a human experience, either more like as a mind, more as body, more as soul. Also, that we have our own purpose or destiny or free will, and also that just like stars have age, we also have different soul age. So maybe a younger soul or a more narrow consciousness won't be able to remember these or to accept these, but then the others don't judge, the others are in their own level. It's kind of like a respect to each and everyone's level of evolution without ego, and a level of respect to each and everyone's expression and understanding of reality. That's what I picture. It would be so cool to have such an experience. It kind of makes me feel like watching this movie, not from like the story, but just the concept of Divergent, where they have like groups based on whatever they do. So here it would be each group of the population. I forgot how you say population. So each group of the population has, it would be like the mind population, the body population, and then the spirit population. But then within that population, they can still mingle, just understanding, oh, I'm having more of this experience, I'm having more of that experience. And within those populations, there would still be layers of soul, age, and remembrance, which I feel would be very, very interesting. If such world exists, I would sign up to go visit. Or who knows, maybe I have been there before and this is where memory comes from. So yeah, that's very interesting to witness the experience life through mind, body, and spirit, and how some worlds can't seem to coexist in this planet because they really, really want to have the righteousness of the experience. Now I hope you're ready for the main dish. Because for the main dish, on serving you one which I also love so much, and is humans who feel like they're different. Feels like this story is like very unique, like that person who didn't really fit in and who was like an outsider or an underdog. And it feels like this is a very, very particular story. Now, I'm gonna tell you, obviously, based on my life experience, and who knows why, maybe Soul Alsie purpose was to dive into very different perspectives of lives and listen to very different perspectives of life. And what I found is that this story of I am different, it's not so special after all. It's not so unique. It's not so one in a million. And I was wondering why, no matter which realm I am diving into, which paradigm I am diving into, the narrative, it's the same. The same story of I felt like an outcaster, I didn't fit in, and so I wondered. And as consciousness expanded, then I remembered, duh, it's not I'm different, it's I am authentic. Bro, that is such a shifter. Because to say I am different, I don't see a way. And if you do, again, share it in the comments. I don't see a way of how affirming I am different does not invite an ego of separation. And separation creates the realm that feels like hell because it allows consciousness to forget the one, the source, the all connection. Whereas authenticity, it's not taking your uniqueness out of you. It's giving it back to you. It's letting you own it, embrace it without creating separation. In fact, it creates unity. So you wouldn't be seeing what makes you different as a curse, but you would be curious to witness what makes others authentic, and others would be curious about what makes you authentic, because authentic is infinite. So there's no copy paste. And also, things that people nowadays embody as their authenticity, and sometimes they still do it with an ego persona of I started this style of dressing and now everyone's copying me. I mean, in a way it is truth, but in the other sense is, well, not all elements of authenticity expressions belong to you. Let me just be more clear with this. So imagine someone starts a trend of a hairstyle. A hairstyle with some fashion. The hairstyle becomes super trendful And then a lot of other people start using this trend, like this hairstyle. But this hairstyle has different elements. So, the hairstyle, it's not the wholesomeness, authenticity of the person who started it. So the hairstyle is one element. That same hairstyle can be accessed as the authenticity of another soul, except the combination will be different, except this other soul will combine it with her car. Yeah, the hairstyle with her car. And then another soul can access that similar hairstyle or same hairstyle but different hair color, and she will combine it with her brand of keychains. Yeah, keychains. And so on and so on. So authenticity is not the expression itself of something, because that comes from the infinite library. I forgot. It comes from the infinite library of consciousness that it's accessible to everyone. But the combination of codes and elements, it's what makes the person, the embodiment, the expression of the wholesome person authentic. And honestly, I just feel like authenticity is so cool. Not as a matrix conditioning of, oh, I am authentic, so I am meant to be in this career and be claimed and da 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 da. More as a grounded, but also greatness, remembrance of who you are. Like, I am part of this same universe as you are, and I am just an authentic expression of the I am, and you are another authentic expression of the I am. And that is so cool. Okay, so I'm gonna write here, yes, I have also something else prepared for us. Mm. So, what I have prepared for us is that in this session, I want to share this space so we clear some of the stories of our self identity. My commitment is to dedicate 21 days into creation. Creation of this space, creation of my higher self identity, and whatever unfolds from that, whatever, in whichever way that is to be expressed. So, after I'm done sharing my blah 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 blah, I'm gonna have this space so we can create all self or cleanse stories from all self. And honestly, I am to not rush this experience, to just truly enjoy it, because first of all, I get to spend this time with me. Second of all, I'm also tapping out of old identity habits. So, what better way to select the space I give my space to than doing it with myself and whoever wants to join in here. Let me see what else I quote here, because my other goal for these 21 days of creation and it's to stay awake. I heard something very interesting just now, just recently, which just made sense to me. So I was saying, this is what happens in my reality. I have such a shift in consciousness, or I anchor consciousness. I live such a blissful life for 1, 2, 3, 4, blah 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 days. And at every specific time, I feel matrix pulls of old habits. Like come back. Just a little bit, just a little bit. It won't harm you. And it's like kind of I bite back into it, and fucking drama it's created in my reality. Like this. Like this. This is how clean I am. That whatever I tap into is like boom. So of course, I now decided to go fucking ambitious to the other side and be like, okay, if I am bringing into fruition that quick because my filter, my whole system is that clean, then honey poop, put on your seatbelts because we're about to fucking fly. And so these 21 days is gonna be my commitment to myself, and then whoever soul wants to join in whenever that it is. I think it is such a beautiful act of self-love to your own experience. And obviously you have your knowing, so you would know when to tap into my content and when to not. So I was having one song in my mind. To all the people around the world. No, 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 no. Oh, it was another one that I wanted to sing. Okay, so I had different versus authenticity. I had experiencing life through mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so the goal, what I am basically anchoring for these, I'm just saying 21 days because that's like the usual number. You know what? That's not my number. 22 days, okay? So 22 days for me is starting now. 22 days of transformation. This is gonna be on YouTube, but later on this will be not on YouTube. I mean, this first load, yes, but for the future, just so you know, because I know my destiny, these are just gonna be courses that you can get. So enjoy the first one and maybe the last one. 22 days of transformation, and this is what I am going to transform. Now, this is the perfect time for you to grab a pen, a pencil, your computer, your phone, whatever it's for you, and write down what is it for you to work in these 22 days. Okay? For me, it is so this is what I am anchoring. I am the Alsie version of everything works for me. What is this? So, this is how I experience reality. Let's say there are people in the public eye that have such a beautiful life that they share, the lenses that they share. And so my subconscious reads as this could never happen to that person. For example, anything terrible, infidelity. Oh, her partner would never cheat on her. For sure, I know her partner is capable of never cheating on her. Look at her. Or, oh yeah, she always gets awesome job opportunities. Like she'll always get awesome job opportunities because it's her. So that energy, I'm taking it, and instead of outsourcing it, I am bringing it back to me. Yes, I am that person whose partner would never cheat on her, because I am me. Come on. I am that person whose great opportunities always come to me, because I am her. Come on. So you sense it now. That's the energy I'm working with for these next 22 days. The next one is to stay awake. So, what I was hearing just recently is this lady who shared that when life is blissful, it's very easy to go back to sleep. And that's where my cycle of being blissful and then hearing the Matrix little pendulum, like, come, bite just a little bit, everything's okay. And then biting it, and then drama. That's where it comes from. I was like, oh yeah, I do feel like I go back to sleep. So stay awake even in blissfulness. Next one. So let go of all self narrative. For example, what would be one of my old self narrative? Actually, you can use this time to write if anything aligns, if you want to join me and write these or whatever it's your goals, anything, if you need space for something, I'm gonna write down some of my old self narratives from this same space that I am already cleansing. Maybe you'll have like 5 minutes just so you know, so you can use your time wisely. You know, I have no perception of time, so my 5 minutes have run away. Okay, so I wrote down some of my old self stories that I would still tell myself. And of course, those ones, my darling, I'm not gonna share them because my sense of privacy, it's also very authentic, but there are things that why would I share my old self narratives if that's old? Unless like in the future I can tap into them from like very detachment, sure. But just sharing them in this very moment feels like I am anchoring them. But that's just my authentic experience. For you, it could be like sharing it, it's releasing, or something in between. I don't know. So basically, I wrote down my my old self narratives, but one that I can definitely share is I wrote down exactly the consciousness that I share with you, that mind, body, and spirit create separation. Because there's a truth in there which I perceive. There's humans that are experiencing more mind experience, more body, or more soul experience, but the belief that that creates separation, it's it belongs to my old self. It definitely doesn't align with my higher self because my higher self is here to create a space where everyone is welcome with their own experience. And my higher self is here to create new ways of expressing that welcoming to different points of views. This is why to me it's such a catharsis to record because to me recording is time shifting. And that's why I also remind you to don't get married with this version of me because this version of me just represents the consciousness of the now moment, but it doesn't represent my wholesomeness. To understand my wholesomeness, you would need to stop being yourself to come and be myself. But then you can't do that because I would never give you my soul. So you would never understand me as a wholesome being, just as I can't understand you as a wholesome being. So don't get married with this version of me right now. Just enjoy it if you may, and that's it. I'm gonna leave this one up to here, and if it is aligned, I'll see you in a future timeline. Although I very much sense that these are gonna be very intense and active transformation moments, so I'm pretty sure I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye.